Troutman.
Present.
Senator Wellington.
Present.
Senator Clark.
Present.
Senator Smith.
Present.
Senator Smith.
Present.
Senator Theodore.
Present.
Senator Brady. Senator Frischello.
Present.
Senator Gonzalez. Senator Johnson.
Present.
Senator Methaparo.
Present.
Senator Timber.
Present.
Senator Town. Senator Beltran. Senator Chuckajoe.
Present.
Senator Cherney.
Present.
Senator Domke.
Present.
Senator Frank.
Present.
Senator Sarno.
Present.
Speakers in aid.
Present. I ask everyone to rise and ask Deputy Speaker Taylor to pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I hear a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes?
Second.
Without objection, last meeting's minutes are approved. Seeing no objection, last month's meeting are approved. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Motion.
Wait a second.
Second.
I make a motion to move items of new business A, C, D, and E to old business. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Without objection, those are moved to the old business. Seeing no objection, those are moved to the old business. Seeing no objection, tonight's agenda is approved. Seeing no objection, tonight's agenda is approved. Good evening, everybody. We finally got some good weather to come to a Senate meeting. Didn't have to walk in the rain or the snow tonight. I'll keep it short. Tonight we have just a fair warning to everybody, the attendance issue. We have 3 missed attendances for this semester. If you miss those, you're out. If you don't get your excused absence within, the bylaws say 1 day. And once you come back, you have 1 day to come to the office and fill out your excused absence form. We've been pretty lenient with that this year. It is to our discretion as well, but please, if you're going to miss, come and fill out that excused absence so we can get you excused and not have that on record. We don't want to kick anybody off, but we had to do that for attendance. This week, I was able to find another computer that we could put into the chairman's / other senator's office. So we have 2 in there now. There's more room for people to come in and work without one person on the computer, the other person doing nothing. So we have 2 there, and we're working on getting possibly another one. Another thing, I went to the University Council Steering Committee, and I brought up an issue that me and President LaFleur were talking about for a while, dating back to the plus-minus system and the way that students were represented when that was being pushed through. Right now, as it stands, the undergraduate councils, the colleges, they choose students to be on their committees, and that's where the things like the plus-minus system are discussed. The Student Association doesn't have any at this point ways to help choose those students, to make sure that those students are actually attending those meetings, or to make sure that those students are active in the discussion process of set policies. Something that we want to bring, I brought it up in the University Steering Committee, and we got some pretty good reaction to it, and hopefully in the future we can have a bylaw in the University Council to somehow get the Student Association involved in that selection process. It's not fair to say that there were students being, that students gave their input in a policy that's being made when the students who are elected to represent the rest of the student body are not a part of that conversation. When students are just chosen by the colleges to be put on those committees, they're chosen because they'll vote their way. At least that's how we feel. we want to be able to have some oversight in that committees. So that's something that we're working on right now as we move forward in University Council. The next thing we've been working on this week is the upcoming elections for the executive branch. The informational meeting to get on the ballot is coming up. I believe it's the 25th of this month. Am I correct? Was it the 25th and the 26th?
25th and 26th.
Yes. So that's an important process coming up. Senator Phillips put together two items that are in front of you. There might not have been enough, so we might have to go every other person, but there's one that says the election voting results, and then the other one is the Senate voting results. And we went back all the way to 1992. He took the votes casted and the percentage of the student population voting. And it's pretty clear and it's pretty self-explanatory that students don't get out to vote in these elections. We've known that for a long time, but I wanted to get it on paper and see how bad it actually is. The best percentage of the student association in a Senate election was in 2009, and only 5% of the students came out to vote, which I'd say is abysmal, which is what we're trying to improve this year. So I want you guys to take a look at that and just see how bad the problem actually is. Senator Phillips, do you have anything to add in these reports? So I yield some time to Senator Phillips.
Good evening, Senators. I would just like to briefly say that, as Speaker Zane had just said, these results are truly bad. This is one thing that we would like to prevent, obviously, in this upcoming executive elections. It is the responsibility of the Elections Committee, the Public Affairs Committee, but also us as general, just to get the word out and tell and urge these students to just vote. As the highest number of votes that have ever been cast in an executive election was 3,800, and you see that, and you don't see that number listed here tonight. That was during the election of 1990. That is really bad that we haven't been able to come anywhere close to that.
That's when most of us were born, by the way. That's when I was born. Just to lay that in perspective to you.
So I say that's 2 years before me, but anyhow. But yeah, it's on all of our responsibilities to just get the word out and just have these students vote. And with that, I'll yield to any questions that you guys might have.
Thank you, Senator Phillips. Moving on from that, we have been working, me and Senator Clark, we've been working on and Senator Sheridan, a debate for the mayoral election coming up. We have set a date we want to do a student association debate for the mayoral candidates to come to. We found a date where all four could come fairly easily. It's our second try, our second date. So that's March 20th is a tentative date that we have set for these. We're looking for a room to do it in. We're looking for possible funding. And as most of you heard in Director Bender's report last week, that he was worried of any legal ramifications that could come from this. I met with our esteemed legal services attorney, Don Henderson, who assured me that there's not much that could come from any legal ramifications that could come from it, just as long as we're fair and we reach out to everybody and we're fair in the question, which we will be. So we can all rest easy now that we know that. And also with the mayoral candidates, we're getting them to come speak here at Senate. And for right now, we have, on March 3rd, we have 2 candidates coming. And then March 24th, we have another candidate coming. We're looking to get the 4th one to come the same day. So just a heads up on that. And that is all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you very much.
Do I have any committee reports? Deputy Speaker Theodore.
This one's on the Board of Elections. I won't be giving too many reports because it sounded kind of an independent thing, but I wanted to ask everyone to start thinking about something. We discussed this earlier. We are able as a Senate to put referenda onto the ballot for questions to ask the student body. We already have one we're going to be asking about something involving the rec center and some student fees related to that. But I want everyone here to start thinking about pretty soon in the next week what kind of questions you want to ask the student body. This is one of the methods that we're going to be using to get people out to vote more, is if there's an actual issue on the ballot that they're able to address and share their opinion on. So start thinking about something that you want just general student input on, something that the student body will know about, and if you have any questions about that, just ask me during this next week.
Are there any other committee reports? Chairman Tibbert.
Slowly but surely we're making progress on the amnesty policy, still working on it, and Senator Hannon is working on a Greek tutoring system. He just got started, he's not here, but he just got started, so he's working on that. Thank you.
Is there any other committee reports? Seeing none, we move to the executive reports. Do I have any executive reports? Seeing none, we move to cabinet reports. Do I have any cabinet reports? Chief of Staff and Care Proctor. You're recognized.
Good evening, Senators. I just wanted to update you guys on what I've been working on so far this semester. I have, along with the other directors, we've all cut back our hours to be conservative with the budget. I continued holding our weekly staff meetings, bi-weekly one-on-one meetings with the directors. I've also continued to work on the Student Conduct Board and on the Bystander Intervention Education Committee. And I've been working hard on the I Will video. For those of you that don't know, we're creating 4 short I Will videos with statements from different students across campus with different pledges that they are committing themselves to take to try and get students to step into different situations and just try to create the campus safer. And we have one of those videos completed. We're just waiting for approval of the chain of command, and the other 2 should be done this coming week, and the final one will be done before spring break. So once I have those, I'll be happy to share them with you guys. You guys can look at them. I began the director evaluation process for this semester, so I should have those completed shortly. And for those of you that don't know, we did not, well, you guys all know that we don't have a director of IT this semester, but we have split up the duties along the cabinet, and I have taken over uploading the staff reports. It takes me a lot longer than the director of IT because I'm not familiar with how to run a website. So I have most of those directors up, and I hope to have all of them completely updated by Tuesday. So look for those. If you have any questions or that there is anything incorrect on there, just please let me know. I'm still trying to get the hang of everything. And also, just to invite you guys to attend this as well, the Women's Resource Center is having a rally night, and it's for organizations to come and represent themselves to try and get people interested in running for positions. It's on February 26th, so it is kind of last minute for the executive elections, but it would be great to try and get more students involved to run for Senate positions. So if any of you guys are interested, it's February 26th from 4 to 6, and they would like a list of people who are attending, so if you're interested, just speak to me afterwards, and I can take down your information.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the Chief of Staff? Deputy Speaker.
Do we know if we're going to have an IT director by the end of the semester?
President LaFleur decided that we would not be filling that position, that Director Faulkner will be updating the website as far as designs and things like that, and I'll be continuing with the staff reports, and I'd be happy to help update with Senate meeting minutes and things like that. And then Mindy Vendors, the Office Support Associate, will be handling all the updates with organizations.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, Ms. Eckler. Do I have any other cabinet reports? Director Samuels, you recognized.
Relations right now. I'm also the acting director of Greek Affairs. Some of the things I've been working on culture-wise, been doing a lot of benchmarking. I've been meeting with a lot of the directors of the cultural centers. Most recently, I met with Lisa Smith from the Women's Resource Center. And we've been doing benchmarking, trying to come up with better programs and initiatives such other schools have that we could pretty much promote better unity across the campus. Also, we've been planning an event for next fall. We're bringing all the directors together, such as we do with the Rock the Mic event. We want to do it next year during orientation, and pretty much make sure that we can compound something that goes along with Rock the Mic. Another thing, been meeting with Unity and Diversity Committee. Some of the things we've been paying attention to as well is orientation. We want to make sure the students come into orientation, they know about all the resources that they have on campus, make sure they are aware of the locations and the logistics of all of the cultural centers, because they say there's been a kind of a lack of thereof. So just want to make sure that everyone is aware when they come into the university. Also, I did a lot of meetings and work with for Black History Month. So I don't know if you've seen around, we created a kind of a pamphlet as well as an agenda for the entire month for all of the events that will be going up, as well as if you look at the MLK comments, we now have some flags up, letting everybody know that it is Black History Month and aware of some of the events that we have. Also been meeting with Greek Week. We've been planning out Greek Week, which will happen in April. We got a lot of events, a lot of fun things that will be coming up. Just for example, one of the things I'm working on, we'll have a Fear Factor Challenge. That's something, just some fun things that the students really get involved and see the Greek community. Also, the Greek and Cultural Finance Committee has begun, so we are working on allocating funds for all the Greek and cultural organizations for next year. And been working with a couple of senators with that, as well as just making sure we do that appropriately. And if you have any questions or want input, please let me know. Any questions?
Are there any questions from the director? Seeing none, you can step down.
Thank you.
Do I hear any other cabinet reports? Director Parrots, you're recognized.
Good evening, Senators. My name is Seth Parrots. I'm the current Director of Mass Transit. A couple of things I've been working with recently has been I've been working with the Campus Parking Committee to deal with planning for parking lots and areas, as well as dealing with motorcycle versus car parking in pretty much all the lots, and determining how many spots there will be for each of those parking areas. I've been handling some of the complaints about the new bus routes, which was to be expected, but there has been a lower volume than we were expecting at the end of last semester when we put these into place. Been dealing with helping students pick up their cell phones and things like that off of the buses. I've also been dealing with the DeKalb Sycamore Area Transit Study, I think is the best in that word. And that's a committee built out of the DeKalb Sycamore MPO, which is basically the group that handles transit for the entire area, as well as streets and things like that. We've been working on getting a trip planner together between the two groups. That's starting to get put together. We're pretty much to the point where we need to take it to legal and just have them hammer out an agreement on who's going to be in charge of what and where the cost is going to be. We're also working on getting Greyhound to start coming back to NIU, but that is proving to be a little more difficult than we expected. A Greyhound company is asking that we have a drop-off for our bus system or the Transvac bus system at the Oasis, and that is expensive, first of all. Second of all, it would require us to become licensed by the federal government, not just the state government, which is another expensive endeavor. So we're still determining whether it's going to be Transvac or the Husky line that is going to be covering that route, and how much it is going to cost. Other than that, I've been trying to figure out ways of making minor cuts for next year, as it does look like we will be running another deficit. Nowhere near the same size that we were this year. However, we are projecting that we'll be about $10,000 below what we need to have for next year's budget. Are there any questions? It's not that good.
Senator Phillips.
You say that parking lots, where are you thinking about these parking lots or?
All parking lots around campus. We're discussing how many motorcycle versus car parking spots there are going to be. And we've also come up with an idea of what's called a flex spot, which is where over the summer months and the warmer areas, there will be two motorcycle spots in what would normally be a car spot, and then as soon as it would be about late October, early November, those spots would become car parking only.
Are we trying to expand these parking lots, or just a survey of how many lots, or how many spaces?
Just kind of a survey of how many spaces for each group. We've been trying to figure out where to expand lots. There are some lot expansions going on behind the new residence hall. And I believe that they're going to be, I hope they're going to be paving. We've been talking about it for a while. A couple of the lots by the Anderson Engineering and Barcino.
Yield.
Senator Troutman.
Thank you. I wanted to address actually the cuts that you made back in January, that were announced back in January. I was wondering whether you looked at ridership data before making those cuts.
We did look at ridership data, but we also looked at need-based. Even if there's a route that doesn't have that many riders, there is still a distance factor that takes into account. For example, the one route is one of our least used routes, but it still has enough students where we do have to have at least one bus on that route. Another route similar to that would be the 2 route, another one of our least used routes. However, the 2 route does go to Chinooks, which is used by a number of students, faculty, and staff on a regular basis.
Thank you. I was also wondering about, this echoes a little bit. I was also wondering about whether you held, to get student input, forms in the residence halls so that they could express their opinions on upcoming cuts.
I have been working on getting forms with the residence hall for my entire career as the director of mass transit and have only received one residence hall president's email back. I have constantly been sending them emails and no one has responded. Without their input, I cannot put on any event in the residence halls.
Okay, also, if you knew about this the previous semester, how come it was the only announcement that was made about these cuts was 3 days after the start of this semester in the Northern Star?
The announcement was actually emailed to all students over winter break, towards the end of winter break, and we only found out that we were going to need to make these cuts towards the end of November. We had a total of 4 weeks to figure out what cuts to make, how much money we were going to need to cut, and to make the cuts.
All right, thank you. I yield.
Senator Pula.
If I remember correctly on things that we were given here about the plans that you guys have gone through and which combinations you used, to take into account what money you'd be saving for the gas of the buses that you weren't using anymore, have you calculated that? Has that made a chunk of anything?
That number has not been calculated. If you would like, I can start working on that and present it to Senate in a month when I come back.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, you may step down. We now move into old business. Do I have a motion here, SAR 44045, a resolution to appoint Michael Malachek as Senator at Large? A second? And I'll ask Michael Malachek to come up to the dais.
Good evening. My name is Michael Malachek, and I feel like I'm a great fit for a student association here at NIU. What attracts me most to the student association is the opportunity to represent the student body directly. During my time at Northern, I want to make this a better place for all students. Being a senator is one of the best ways to do that. I served on student council during high school, and I would like to continue this trend during college. I also consider myself to be a natural leader and feel like the student association will be a great place to make friends for life. Although I am a sophomore here at NIU, it is my first year here, and I am looking to get involved in every way possible. Thank you for your time this evening and giving me this opportunity.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Senator Troutman.
What other organizations are you involved with?
I am involved in Sigma Alpha Mu Fraternity and Student Accounting Society.
Thank you. I yield.
Are there any other questions? Senator Smith.
You said student, what was that?
Student Accounting Society.
You said student accounting society?
Right.
Okay, never mind then. I yield my question.
Senator Donkey.
What would be the largest problem that you would like to tackle in your time as senator?
I think a problem we face in Northern here is like getting students, just showing students, potential students, the positives of our campus. I mean, every day we see a lot of renovations and how great this campus really is, but I feel like the normal thing that people see is like stories on the news and the negatives of our campus. And I'd like to get the word out more on that.
Okay, I yield.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, you may step down as the Sergeant at Arms and escort you out. Any discussion on the candidate? Seeing none, we move to a vote. All those in favor of SAR 44045 signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? To the opinion of the chair, the motion passes. I do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and bylaws
that I will support the Constitution and bylaws
of the Northern Illinois University Student Association,
of the Northern Illinois Student University Association,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Senator
and faithfully discharge the duties
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Do I have a motion to hear SAR 44047, a resolution to appoint Maria Pokorski as Senator at Large? Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
The motion is in order. I ask Maria Pokorski to approach the dais. And please excuse her, she informed us that she lost her voice over the weekend, so try to listen up.
Okay, so just bear with me, I usually don't spell this bad. Okay, my name is Maria Corsi, I prefer to be called Mary. I'm a freshman, I'm a marketing major. I think I'm involved in kind of a lot of organizations here. I'm in Sigma campus sorority, I'm in fashion industry organization, I'm in women in business professions, and I'm an ed representative at the Northern Star. I think all these different backgrounds will help me really voice the opinion of Northern, and I think I would, sorry, I would really help out and have good ideas, and I'm really ready to voice my opinion.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker? Seeing none, you may step down and ask the Sergeant at Arms to discuss. Go around. Is there any discussion on this candidate? Seeing none, we move to a vote. All those in favor of SAR 44047 signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion passes. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and bylaws of the Northern Illinois University Student Association, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Senator to the best of my ability. Do I have a motion to hear SAB 44035, a bill to create a Senate position?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Thank you. This bill is to appoint is to make the position of legislative director. In the past, this position was made by our former speaker last semester, but it was never legitimized in our bylaws. Currently, I have asked Senator Clark to be serving in that position throughout this semester. She's been doing a great job at it, so we wanted to put it in the bylaws and make it permanent. So that's what the bill is entailing right now. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, move to a vote. All those in favor of SAB 44035, the bill to create a Senate position, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion passes. We now move to, we have a motion here, SAB 44036, the bill to create a Senate position.
Move.
This bill is to create a director of community service for the Senate. We require all of you to do 5 hours of community service by the end of the semester. I think it would be a great organizational standpoint for someone to actually have that job, to organize different community service projects for all the senators to do together. Not all, but some at a time, maybe all, like NIU Cares Day is coming up. We can do a Senate team. There are organizations all around DeKalb that are looking for volunteer and service. So it'd be nice to have someone organize that, to have someone to turn the paperwork in at the end of the semester as well. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, move to a vote. All those in favor of SAB 44036, a bill to create a Senate position, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So, opinion of the chair that the motion passes. We now move to public comments. Seeing none, we move to announcements. Are there any announcements? Senator Steve.
I forgot to mention earlier, last week everyone got this sheet related to student grievance and non-academic departments. This is something we have many instances of, but the one question that we're going to be hearing repeatedly, especially because we all talk about academic departments, is, well, what about non-academic departments, how's this going to work? So we need a lot of specific examples. So please, if fill out the sheet, fill it out, bring it in this week to the office, or if I'm not there, if no one's there, just leave it in the mailbox in the essay office. And yeah, but
Senator Clark.
Yeah, the internship in Delaware this week, and I really think that it would be a good idea for all of us to go, even if you guys aren't looking for an internship or a job right now. It'll give you the opportunity to go talk there, and it's a good opportunity. So just say it's a good opportunity to do it.
Are there any other announcements? Senator Clark.
Okay, so we're starting a committee actually for the mayoral debate, and we need to know if anybody would like to volunteer. This committee will consist of mostly just, if you want to start, we need informed questions to, for the proctor of the debate. And basically we're just gonna start setting up the debate, and I don't wanna do it on my own. So if anybody, I guess you can raise your hand or just come talk to me after, either one, but we're gonna go for anyone else want to join? It's not that, we don't have set dates on meetings, so it'll just be kind of like running the mill thing, so. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Senator Alford. Aye. Senator Dunn. Aye. Senator Golden. Aye. Senator Hannan. Senator Cagle. Aye. Senator Nani. Aye. Senator Strong. Senator Wiggins.
Aye.
Senator Burke. Aye. Senator Malaysia. Aye. Senator Phillips.
Aye.
Senator Pooler.
Aye.
Senator Scritchlow.
Aye.
Senator Tischler.
Aye.
Senator Troutman. Aye. Senator Wellington.
Aye.
Senator Clark.
Aye.
Senator Pekorski. Senator Smith. Senator Smith. Senator Theodore.
Aye.
Senator Brady. Senator Fischello.
Aye.
Senator Gonzalez. Senator Johnson. Aye. Senator Methaparo.
Aye.
Senator Timber. Senator Town. Senator Beltran. Senator Shakacha. Aye. Senator Sheridan. Aye. Senator Domke.
Aye.
Senator Frank.
Aye.
Senator Sarna.
Aye.
Speakers in aid.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.
All members of the Mass Transit Board, please come to the table for a second.